This episode brought to you by humidity. There's 100% chance I'm sweating my face off right now. This is a family stream, Daniel.
This is HOTDROP, where we bring you premier PUBG analysis and just comfortable warm drops that you just snuggle up in a blanket, just get that cup of tea going. It just makes you feel good inside. I'm Dano.
And I am Cody.
And let's get into it.
Shit, what was the song I was gonna sing? One of these nights, one of these lonely desert nights.
It's always a song to kick it off, every time.
It's because I aspired to be a singer and realized that I have a really terrible voice. But you got to follow your dreams, Dan. If
You
there's
do.
one thing that Bob Ross taught me, at some point, somewhere, he probably said, follow your dreams.
And only accidents are happy ones.
Wait, what?
The only accidents there can be are happy accidents,
Interesting.
right? That's what he says.
He does say that, yeah.
Yeah. Said, rest in peace.
Anyway, so this
Beautiful
is
man.
episode 37 to everybody who is still hanging around after that terrible intro. First and foremost, we really wanted to talk about how awesome the Discord is. Dan updated it like crazy this week, and he's going to give you those updates because he's the one that did it.
Yeah, Discord 2.0. So again, for those of you who don't know what Discord is, it's very simple. It's a free, all free chat app. You can get it on your phone. You can get it on your desktop. You can get it on your tablet, really whatever you're using. Download it, make a username, pop into our Discord. The invite link is in our show notes always. And there's a couple of new things I added to it recently that I wanted to point out. So I added some bots, which is pretty cool. So every time there's a new episode, you should see a notification in the Discord and a link to it, along with links to every single time we tweet. You can see our Twitter posts right on the Discord. And then also when PUBG tweets themselves, we have a link to every tweet that the official PUBG Twitter account posts. You will also see notifications for when we go live on Twitch and for drop nights. So if you guys have been thinking about how you want to expand your online friend group, or if you're just looking for a duo partner, come on down to the Discord. There's always some people to play with you guys. And now on Xbox, for those of you who have just an Xbox account, you can link your Xbox gamer tag to your Discord account to be able to see who is online in our community. So yeah, it's just a great way to stay in touch with everyone. Join us for just random conversations throughout the day, discussions about patch notes, or literally anything else that comes up. Really encourage you to join in there and yeah, see what's going on.
Beautiful, Daniel. That was very well said.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guess what, everyone? For all of you Xbox players out there, we have a new dedicated segment called Xbox Box.
Very original.
We are going to bring to your ear holes every single week a hard focus on the Xbox patches and updates, and because there are so many of you that are active in our community that play only Xbox, you poor souls, and so we wanted to bring you something that was more dedicated and not just also Xbox had this week.
Right. So now we're going to wrap it up in a big package called the Xbox Box. And we're going to drop it on your guys' heads every single episode. And we're going to include a whole bunch of different things. So obviously we've got the Xbox patch notes. You'll be able to have a quick discussion on those things. But we're also going to include some recent developments in our community, some chat that have gone back and forth between you guys in Discord. Because we found out that actually the Xbox people are some of the most active, talkative, and just overall just exciting people to be around. not highlighting all of you, not singling out all of you PC players, but it seems like Xbox is a little more social, I think.
Yeah.
It really seems like you guys are always looking for people to play with. So we wanted to make a dedicated segment for you so that we talk about what you guys have talked about throughout the week. I played with you guys, a couple of you guys over the weekend, got in some Miramar action. It was a really good time. Shout out to D-Vigs, Kyler, Fugly, Chad. You guys make an awesome team. We crushed it. Got our first chicken dinner on Xbox. So I wanted to talk about that experience because that was pretty awesome for me. My first win on the Xbox, which is much more difficult than the PC. But yeah, overall, this is just going to be a little dedicated segment to you guys. And to kick it off, let's talk about Miramar because that was the big news.
It
We
was.
had the
It was
test
on
server
the
open.
Xbox, and people seem to have real mixed feelings about it. But overall, we're just super excited to get a new map.
Yep, that's what
So,
it was. Just excitement. Like people were really excited. It was palpable, you might say.
was it
I
palpable?
think it was palpable.
How did you feel about it?
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was it ran very well. I think that was the biggest thing about it. They did some optimization. They have really made the game a lot more smoother, a lot more smooth, a lot smoother than it used to be. Still, because it's an Xbox and I'm using a controller, aiming is a struggle for me. But because it was on Miramar this time, it seemed like there were less long range fights, or maybe it was just because I didn't feel so comfortable taking those fights. But it felt like you could see people off in the distance, and you're thinking to yourself, well, they're out there, I'm here. Even though I have this 4x scope, I don't think I could hit them anyway, so we're just going to wait and get closer to them before we engage. Like, that was sort of my overall experience on Xbox as far as ranged fights, which Miramar encourages. I think scopes are a little bit less important on Miramar in a way, for me personally, because the guns are hard for me to use. I didn't feel confident at all, so I wanted to wait and use my house breaching techniques to, sort of attack people or just camp in a house. It felt a little bit more campy, and that's kind of what we ended up doing for our win. We sat in the same spot for a while and just waited on the circle. We got lucky a couple times where the circle popped in right on our heads and we didn't have to move. And I think like that was probably a reason why we succeeded in that game. But I think Miramar right now on Xbox was a step in the right direction for PUBG overall. It gave an update that people have been desperately wanting. All of you Xbox people have seen Miramar on PC for a long time now, and you finally got to taste it yourselves, which was super cool. I was glad to be a part of it too when it dropped, so I could share in the excitement. And to me, Xbox almost feels like a whole new game. Like it feels like I accomplish something when I get a kill because I'm just not very good at it with the controller. So it's a little bit more exciting for me to play with a controller and actually do well. I was getting pretty ramped up when I was able to get that last kill to secure the chicken dinner.
Neato Skeeto, Daniel.
And how many people have demanded, Cody, that you get an Xbox?
So many people. So if you guys, felt like donating to this stream so I could buy an Xbox, that'd be great. But until then, houses cost money and puppies cost money. And those are two things that I have. So I can't really.
Yeah. Yep. We'll get you an
It's,
Xbox. We'll hunt some deals down on eBay or something.
yeah. Because I'd like to play it on Xbox so I can, be also another smart one on this stream.
Uh, you know, I don't think anyone's really that intelligent on this stream. We're just sitting here talking about
I'm smart. I have a
game.
college degree.
Well, so do I, but I don't know. We're just sitting here talking about video games, but
Yeah, that's true.
how fun of a video game is it? Come on.
It's a V-Fun video game, as the
V-Fun.
kids say.
The kids do say that. So anyway, across the board, I think on Miramar, I just want to pop back to that for a quick second. Skills across the board seem lower. I think I felt more evenly matched than I would be if I was a new PC player, I think. And most of my initial thoughts about Xbox in general are pretty true still. So check out the very much still relevant episode 27, So Much Xbox, So Little Beard Face.
God damn it.
Check that episode out because it's all true. I still feel that way for a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Inventory still sucks, but hey, it's getting better.
And we got a lot of really good feedback from the guys that you played with and some of the other Xbox players on the Discord. And so we wanted to kind of showcase a couple of those things and and kind of get a feel for how you guys think of that map.
Yeah. So the first is Fugly, very active member in our community. Shout out to him. He says, Miramar sort of felt like he dumped his girlfriend on a whim for a hot crush who is going off to summer camp, and now he has to go back to his ex, and it's all awkward. And that is, of course, referring to Miramar no longer being available on the test server, so he has to go back to his old main squeeze, Erangel. Do people say
And
main
act like
squeeze
a-
anymore? Is
I
that
feel like they do, but like in secret.
yeah? Like no
It's
one
like
says
something
main
my mom
squeeze.
said in high school.
My dad would say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like we picked up their thing, so we say it, but only to each other, and now apparently the internet.
The internet, yeah.
It's a series of tubes.
Kawasaki Rider, he clued me into that name. I think I was like Cowie. I was saying Cowie last time, or Kawai. He felt like John Wayne, absolutely loved the map, grabbed the Winchester, felt like a cowboy, went back to Erangel, and got sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
I'd like to cover Scale Speeder. He plays on the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And so his was beautiful actually. So he only played it for a little bit, but he said he enjoys both of the maps a different way. And so he answered this in the question of the week, but it's the end bit that I thought was just like so beautiful. And he wrote what did he say? Your usual Erangel tactics and strategies will be sorely tested on Miramar, and you and your squad need to be on top of your game. And when you shake the sand from your boots and return to the green fields of Erangel, you'll be sharper and a better player.
And when you shake the sand from your boots, you will return a better player. Well stated. And in a beautiful English accent, I just need to hear that.
He linked me to his YouTube channel after that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's real. I like that.
It's real nice. It's real
It's
smooth.
so smooth.
Check him out, Scale Speeder on YouTube. He does a whole bunch of videos, a bunch of different games, focusing mostly on PUBG right now, but super chilled guy, awesome member of the community, has really great thoughts and opinions on some things, so check him out. So that's about it for the Xbox box. I have to speed up my words whenever I say Xbox box because I feel like that's how you have to pronounce it. But
Xbox box.
that was it's a very shallow and kind of uninteresting box this time around, but it'll get better. It's just our first go at adding a new segment to really focus on our pals over there on the old green machines. So Cody, this episode's really going off the rails. Mobile. We had some mobile updates, and this is something that we haven't really covered much in the past, but for all of you guys with that purple tag in our Discord indicating that you are primarily mobile players, we've got something for you.
Yeah, so they have a mobile update version 0.5.1, and the patch notes were translated from the Chinese version to English.
And this is because this patch is only available in China right now. So I think they'll probably end up bringing it to the global audience. But for right now, this is only available in China because we know that like that's the publisher of this mobile version is headquartered in China, and that's their main focus for a target audience. But we do have some new content here, and the biggest thing, which is fascinating to me, is they've added Miramar to mobile. They've added the desert map.
It's so fast, but it's so cool.
So
like, think about how long it took to get to Xbox, and now all of a sudden it's just there.
Yeah.
They had it, and I gotta be honest, sometimes mobile runs so much better than any of these versions.
Yeah.
So it's shocking.
Yeah. It's wild.
However, they added a lot of content, and so they added the desert maps, weapons, vehicles, different kind of modes. So they have like, I don't know, like events and things like that, and daily quests, and it's just really engaging to other people. And I don't know why they don't implement these things more, even on PC.
Yeah. New entertainment mode. So some of the patch notes here are a little bit choppy as far as English, but new entertainment modes, Sniper Elite gameplay, 15 minutes of casual gameplay. So I'm putting all that together, and it appears like they have different game modes for a shortened match. And this is something that actually came up when we were playing recently, which was if you see no one, you're going to be running around in a circle for 40 minutes and die to the first one you see, which was what happened to us the other night.
The worst.
And we were talking about it, and we were like, this game needs a faster game mode. Like, there needs to be a half speed or like a double speed, I mean, or like a half a game where you jump in, you already have a kit, you're ready to go, or maybe you just have a couple things that you need. You have your armor already, you have your ammo already, or you have a vehicle already, and you can just get to the end in 10 minutes versus in 30. So it looks like they've realized that, because to me on mobile, like mobile is a game that you want to spend a small amount of time playing when you have little moments throughout the day. So like a 15-minute game on a mobile device is perfect. A 40-minute game is like, I don't really know when I'm going to find 40 minutes and have my phone out for that long.
When I spent some real time playing mobile, I kept feeling anxious that I was going to be interrupted while I was playing. Whereas when I'm sitting down at my PC, I don't ever have to worry about really being interrupted because I've sat down at a computer and this is my designated time. Where my phone is a thing that constantly interrupts me. And it doesn't shut off your notifications. Like, you still get calls if you need to get calls, texts come through, and the banner comes down. So like, it's just not relaxing. But if you have 15 minutes, I can go, yeah, I can play for 15 minutes. Like, that's not a big deal. Yeah,
just speed up the gameplay, and it's more rewarding if you have like more wins, right? Like, the whole reason people are playing is to win, right? So if you have a more chances to win quickly, I think that's what's going to keep people coming back, is like, okay, I can hop in and potentially win in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, versus I'm going to get all the way to the end and lose and feel bad that I just wasted all that time. Maybe had a great time doing it, but yeah. Quick gameplay, I think that's the key. They also added a couple other things, like a Legion system, Legion stores and Legion missions. So these are just those rewards that you get as you play. You unlock things. You can use those points to purchase things. New winning strategy, new spectator opening function. It's kind of difficult to really understand what all these things are because the translation's not so good. But I just wanted to call this out because Miramar is on mobile in China. And they're getting some really sweet updates to major features in the game. New game modes, faster game modes, and more rewards.
Right. Cool. Also, there's an official mobile emulator that fights against using mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So for you guys, someone was talking about it in our Discord a while ago. They said they use an emulator to run PUBG Mobile and use a mouse and keyboard. And I know that previously... Tencent, I think, is the publisher, the developer. They have tried to combat the use of these emulators because they don't want people using mouse and keyboard against people who are using touch controls, because that's not fair.
Nope.
So what they've gone and done is create an official emulator. So this is cool. So if you are on a device and you want to use a mouse and keyboard, you can download the official emulator, and I'm going to assume it only matches you with people who are also using the emulator, so you'll always get put with other mouse and keyboard players.
Yep.
So that's
Which is awesome, because like if you're just doing it because it's more comfortable, cool. You're still going to get the people that are going to try and play with a mouse and keyboard, which sucks, but
yeah.
You'll get less of them.
You'll get less, exactly. And it's just an even playing field. So that's pretty cool. There will be a link in the show notes to go check out a video on that. You can also follow the PUBG Mobile has an official Discord. So while you have your Discord open and you're dropping into HOTDROP, you can also drop into the official PUBG and official PUBG Mobile Discord communities, and you can get all the latest updates from them. So that's how I found out about this one, because it's a little bit difficult to find mobile updates. I've noticed they don't really publish them and with full release notes on a regular schedule. So I just follow the official Discords, and that's where I get all of my information from. So that's where I found this, and we encourage you to check those places out. Since you're already downloading Discord, to come hang with us. You know, might as well. 2 birds with 1 stone, right?
Nailed it. Smooth.
So, Cody, PC, what do we got? PC patch 12.
That means personal computer, for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
So we had the big massive weapons change went live yesterday. It went from test servers to live. Again, I wasn't here last week, but I was in DC with my brother, and it was super fun. I saw all the monuments and took some pictures and stuff, so that was cool.
What are you talking about? You were on the show last week, the live show. We heard your voice.
Not the weapon update.
Yes. So what's your take on the weapon update, since you recently got a chance to play with it a little bit?
So I enjoy it. I think that it's definitely an adjustment, because the weapons were either buffed or nerfed pretty hard. I don't think I anticipated them being as balanced compared to each other as they actually are at this point. I do think the AK is a little bit overpowered though, but pistols are like I would use my pistol now, and being able to change my gameplay a little bit to not assume that it's easier when I don't see somebody with an AR is really going to be a long road, I think, because we've gotten to the point where if you spot somebody, you see they have like an ump or a pistol and you've got anything else, you go, no problem. But now that's not necessarily the case, because they can hit you through 3 shots and kill you with a pistol from 30 yards.
Yeah, if you're unarmored, which is crazy.
Yeah, so it's going to be an adjustment. I'm excited to play it more and get a better feel for all of it, but overall, I'm really impressed. I think the game runs a little bit better too. I don't like the idea of level 3 helmets being crate only.
Why is that? I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but any thoughts now that you played it?
Now that I've played it, it doesn't make me want to go for crates any more than I did before. So now you're just kind of there, but it seems like the level 2s spawn less and level 1s are just everywhere. But I still don't want to go for all the crates because that kind of interrupts whatever strategy your team might have.
That's true. Yeah, you can really screw your team over if you are, running after crates. And believe me, I know. I'm guilty. Yeah, there's a lot of changes in this patch, and we covered a lot of them last week. But some of the things I wanted to call out were additions to this update that we hadn't really noticed throughout the week because we were focusing on just the big changes that we already covered. But throughout the week, they added a couple more small updates. First off was they added a separate EU server option on the test server, removed the glass from all windows with bars on Erangel, and then also added some graffiti images. So if you guys remember, there was a contest with if submission of graffiti would be added to the game. So you could go in as an artist and make some cool graffiti, sign it over to PUBG Corp, and if you're lucky, get it into the game. And this is where they implemented that. So that's kind of cool to see some additional community interaction.
Yeah, and some of them are actually really cool looking.
Yeah.
I think that it was a really interesting way to just engage the community a little bit more. Assassin's Creed did a similar thing where they did fan art contests each week, or like the photo mode where you would go in, but they would give you prizes and stuff each week for the winners. Just like a shirt or a poster or whatever. But it was interesting to bring people in and see what they could do artistically.
Yeah, a little way to give back is cool.
Especially with like Tumblr and Reddit, like people love to do fan art and shit. Yeah. So it works out really nicely.
Yeah, why not capitalize on that and bring it into the game?
Do you mind if I go into my pros and cons list here?
Sure. We've got a couple more updates I want to cover. Do you want to do those quick? Or do you think this is a good segue?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, well, let's do this real quick. So they added a few more patch changes. They made it so that when you adjust your reticle in game, so this is one of the things, if you have a red dot, you can adjust the different type of reticle that you see. And they made this to able to remember what you've set, which is great. There's no setting, there's no thing you have to mess with. It's just it'll remember what crosshair you use across different play sessions.
Personally, I like the triangle.
It's kind of cool, yeah. I like the one that's like a regular crosshair with like the dot in the middle, the plus sign with the dot. I like that one. I can see it pretty well. I also just like the regular dot, if we want to be honest.
It's cool. It's all pretty sweet.
It's cool.
I don't think any of them are bad. I think it was a really just a smart move on their part to get people to feel like they can customize things a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there are enough skins yet for people to feel like it's customizable.
That's interesting you say that, because I was thinking about that this weekend when I was playing, and I rarely seem to come across people with any skins.
Yep.
And it might be because they put them in boxes that you have to pay money for, and maybe people aren't realizing that, or they're not really going after them yet. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't really noticed that many skins, which is interesting. Or maybe all the good ones are the ones that are really expensive that people don't have, or don't want to buy. But anyway, yeah, so we also have some other changes. The vertical mouse sensitivity is now set to 0.7. This was an addition because you could not actually change your vertical mouse sensitivity before, and they added in it as a slider. It's set to 0.7 by default, and if you want it the same as the vertical, you can change it to 1.0. But personally, I'm going to leave this the same because this is something that I've been playing with forever, and I'm assuming when they added the slider, they made it so the slider is set to what it's always been at. So maybe all along your vertical has been slightly less than your horizontal. So I've adapted to that, and I recommend all of you guys don't touch this. Just keep going. If you're used to your sensitivity, don't change it. They fixed a couple bugs, nothing too cool here. They added better in-game descriptions for all the new grips and attachments. So this is much appreciated.
That was confusing.
Very confusing.
Too many grips to not know exactly what they did. But now it's bulleted, and it starts with a plus or a minus. So it says plus vertical recoil, minus horizontal recoil.
Instead of like multiple sentences explaining what it does, where it's impossible to know on the fly what's going on. Yeah.
Never pick up the light grip.
Yeah, right. Unless they've changed them, it's awful. And I posted some images in Discord of some of the spray patterns that you see if you use all of the different grips, and they're very different. The lightweight one especially seems worse to put on your gun than running without a grip. So pro tip there. And lastly, there was just a couple other fixes. A client crash issue was fixed, and a typo with the in-game tooltip. Nothing fancy. So Cody, pros and cons. Want to jump into that list?
Yeah, I do. So after playing it, I think that, and some of these we've touched on a little bit, but I'll still go through them. Pistols are so much more effective, and it changes the way that you approach other players when you see that they are unarmed or armed, respectively. Having such an easy kill now with 3 hits to an unarmored person, I feel more comfortable going in with a P92, knowing that I could take on this guy that's got an UMP or an M16 if he doesn't get a good hit on me. However, if you run up to somebody with an AK and they shoot you in the chest, good luck. You know.
Right. And speaking of the AK, there is a massive update.
God.
That they did not announce. The spray pattern of the AK is basically a straight line up and down. It used to be left and right all over the place, but now it is very easy to control in a sustained automatic fire. Just pull straight down. It's pretty nuts. I feel like they're going to revert it or tweak it more. And
they're going to have to.
But it's insane. It's just going to be too disgusting in the hands of a pro player. They're going to use it every single time because it has the extra damage, and now it has a very controllable recoil.
Yeah. WTF Moses has used the AK anyway all the time.
And very effectively.
And now he's just going to... It's a laser beam, so...
Yeah. So pro tip right now, before they fix it, if you guys want to give it a shot, go use that AK. Before you would probably throw it away, which is what I would do. But it's very nice. Just use it on auto, pull straight down.
Talking about 7.62s, also, the SLR is pretty sweet.
Yeah, this is a new DMR.
I have not used it. I have seen people use it in game. Damn. It's cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Nice. It looks cool. It doesn't take a foregrip, which is weird. It doesn't take an angled or vertical grip or anything like that. So that kind of, I think that balances it out a little bit against the SKS. So what they did was they knocked the SKS down a couple points in damage, so it deals a little less. And then they slotted this SLR right in front of it.
Yep.
And they made the recoil of the SLR pretty hefty. So I think that's your trade-off. Like, you've got your damage output, but you have to control it a little better. Versus the SKS, still pretty decent damage-wise, but it is going to be a little bit better on recoil because you can put those grips on it.
For sure. The guns overall do seem way more balanced. You're not going to favor a whole lot over another, just about the amount of attachment, generally speaking now. Being able to put on different kinds of grips and extended mags, which adding the DMR and the sniper mag as the same thing is awesome. I love it. I think that it really, really helps when looting, to not pick up a bunch of random stuff with the hopes that you're going to find what you need, because you've now reduced the amount of things that you have to look for essentially by half when you're looking for snipers and DMRs.
Yep. That was the biggest change I've noticed. Almost like out of all these things, it was pretty difficult to find an extended sniper mag before, and now it's almost like they're everywhere.
There you go. Yep, there you go.
I love it.
Syringes are also spawns now, which I don't think I noticed when we were reading these notes before. And then now they're just as common, I'd say, as a med kit. Yeah. Maybe even a little more than a med kit.
Like the good med kit, not the first aid you're talking about, right?
Yeah, like the actual med kit.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool because you need a boost to find something like a med kit. You know what I mean? Instead of finding a bunch of painkillers and energy drinks, being able to find something that's just going to boost your boost bar
Yeah.
is really key. Level 3 vests, though, are also more common now, I think, because they don't allow for level 3 helmets to be spawns.
Yeah. I don't know if we have some solid data on that yet, but I
No,
need to
but
play a little more to get the hang of it.
I have found a level 3 vest almost every single match since I played on this test before it went live. So,
Yeah. That's actually true. I have found them more often.
my last pro, grips. My first con, grips.
And why is that?
There are so many,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure that they are all serving a real great function.
Yeah.
There's the thumb grip and the lightweight grip and the vert grip and the angled grip, and then there another one, half grip.
Lightweight thumb grip. Yeah. There's
And
a lot.
Not being able to test them the way you want to test them makes it a little difficult to play and win while also playing for fun.
Yeah. You have to take your time. You see the grip on the ground and you're like, which one do I take? Which one do I take? What
Right.
does this do? How am I, like, what weapon am I using? How do I want to play this? Like, I think the point is to give you more options and to allow you to choose a grip that suits your play style, which is like tapping from long range, short bursts, sustained bursts, full auto. But it's just confusing. And until we get it down, like until I fully figure all of them out, I don't know what's best for me yet. And maybe
Right,
this
and
will
then-
be just go away, like every other junk item in the game. I'll just see it and I'll just not pick it up.
Yeah.
But now I don't know yet. I don't know enough.
And it makes the spray patterns weird, and I think that spray patterns are weird now also, but these grips, it's just confusing.
It's
Let's
very
just leave it at
confusing.
that.
Yeah.
I miss being able to find level 3 helmets as a spawn.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me want to go for crates more.
Yeah, you said that.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. The good thing about the crates though is they will always spawn a level 3.
Every single time. Yeah, every single time.
Yeah. So if you do go for the crates, you can guarantee you get that level 3, which is, I see where they're coming from because it makes it worth it every time to know that you're not going to get like an AUG and no helmet when the AUG is basically just as good as the M4.
Right.
So it makes the care packages more enticing, but I don't know. For you, it seems like it doesn't really make you want to go get them as much. But for me, I think I would go get them. I don't know. It really depends. It's situational, but I don't know. I don't know. This is an interesting change. It's going to really affect a lot of the game, like a lot of parts of the game, especially the end game, where everyone seems to have the best kit available, and there might not be as many level 3 helmets in the playing field now. So if you have that Kar 98 and you can get that one headshot, you can. This is going to turn the tide of a game basically as potential.
Right.
If you don't have that helmet. So that's what they were thinking, and that's why they've tweaked them. But it just remains to be seen a little bit. You know what is going to really come of this. That's too early to tell.
Right. I would also like to add, like, they didn't address the mid-game issue, even though they keep talking about it and reverting and talking about it. Mid-game still sucks.
Mid-game
is boring. Thank you for all these weapon buffs. Thank you for all these changes, but mid-game sucks.
Yep.
Once it gets down to like 45 people, all of a sudden there's no movement, no anything, and people just tick away like slowly, one, and then one, and then one, until you get to 25 people in the last 3 circles, where people are dropping like flies again. Fix it, please. I just want a good mid game. We can shorten the games a little bit. People can get back in, stay warm. Let's just get on that, PUBG. Thanks.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Especially after playing the couple games we did the other night where we didn't see anyone at all game, and we dropped pretty warm. I think we dropped at Ferry Pier in one game, and then we just ran around in circles, and then never saw a single person until the end, and then died. And it was like a 30-minute game that I felt like I just like wasted so much time because I didn't see anyone. I didn't get any better. I didn't like nothing good happened. So short games, please, and thank you.
Yeah.
So speaking of all these weapon changes, we don't have a weapon spotlight today, and this is mostly because we need to go back and look at all the numbers again. Like
Yeah,
every single weapon
it's
spot that
tough.
we've done so far is pretty much invalidated.
Yeah, so now we got to go back and sort of start over again because everything's been buffed or nerfed, and we want to get back and maybe even polish up the weapon spotlight a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So we
And
don't have that
since we
segment,
have,
but it will make a triumphant return very soon.
yep. So the big news that we got, which was today, is that war mode's back.
War mode is back.
We
War
get
mode is
war
Bay,
mode.
and it's back. Bay is back.
Motherfuckers.
Family show, Cody. My God, man. It's back.
But it's back and it's changed. It's called Desert Nights. There are 50 players in this one instead of 30. There are 10 teams of 5 people apiece. And it's only using crate exclusive weapons with 2 grenades, and everybody I think is kitted out with a level 3 helmet and vest.
Yeah,
right off the
crate
bat.
weapons. This is big.
This is going to be incredibly difficult. It's going to be incredibly fun because there are going to be a lot of ranged fights, especially on Miramar.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're only doing Miramar, but
Yep.
it encourages you to have long range fights, and they're expanding the play mode a little bit, obviously because 50 people, but they also want to see how cool it's going to be to have long range fights.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a lot of camping, a lot of people slowly trying to flank. Grenades, we talked about it before, are incredibly useful in these war mode games. So there's so much happening here. It's only happening for, well, I can't even remember what the
Like
date is.
3
here.
days, I believe.
3 days.
Let me see if I can pull it up
I
really
think
quick.
it goes off Saturday at some point, maybe.
So it starts on May 3rd, which is today at 7 p.m. Pacific, and it ends on May 6th, also at 7 p.m. Pacific. So there's just 3 days of goodness. So hop in there. Again, 5-man squads, first person and third person. And it's very similar, like we were just saying, to the war mode that you've already played, except Miramar, bigger zone, crate weapons.
And this is going to be super fun. I'm sorry that we're not going to have 10 people to play with this time, but we'll try to get some of you in here. We're trying to fill that third or fourth or fifth slots. So keep that up. Hop in the Discord. We will announce it anytime we're looking for another player over the next few days here.
Yeah. Yep. This is really great to get the community together, and it makes it so like it's a little more relaxed, a little more casual. Like you don't have to go into a game not knowing who your teammates are and worry that they might not be a good player or fun to play with, because you can just drop out because it's not a lot riding on the games. It's just easy in and out, casual game mode, which is what we loved the first time it came around. We
Right.
absolutely adored this game mode. So yeah, you start with a care package weapon, level 3 vest, level 3 helmet, and 2 grenades right off the bat. Top tier
So-
equipment.
Get in there. Check out the desert. Become a knight.
Become a knight. Beautiful.
I am the knight.
That's war mode. And the next is the question of the week. And we said last week, Miramar or blah blah blah. Miramar or Erangel, and why? And what did the people have to say, Cody?
So we've already covered what Scale Speeder said. However, there were a lot of you that really kind of jumped into this. I think that D jumping in said, "I'm really into bad loot and unreliable Brown." So clearly she's a big fan.
Unrelenting Brown.
D-Vig said, "I like Miramar because it's a big map and it's also new," because D-Vigs is an Xbox player, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And so they can't wait till the optimizations happen, because right now I think people are complaining that it runs a little bit slowly, and the Play-Doh issue isn't as big as an issue as it had been in the past, but it kind of it saw a resurgence when
Yeah.
Miramar hopped up because the FPS is pretty garbage.
Yeah, that Xbox update basically said they increased optimization, but they said they only really did that for Erangel. They said the Play-Doh building issue is going to be a thing on Miramar, and it was when we played. It was pretty crazy, actually, how unoptimized it felt.
Yep. What did Kyler say, Dan?
Kyler had a lot to say. He said that Miramar is on Xbox, and he's played a bunch of it, and he has some opinions, basically preferring Erangel over Miramar, even though he only had a few days to play Miramar. He said there's some things that he really doesn't like about the desert map. He enjoys how big the cities feel. They feel like actual big cities. And for example, Pachinki feels tiny. It's like a little town compared to Los Leones. But the big problems with Miramar are that there's not enough cover, he says, and says that if he's driving in a field and then someone's shooting at him, there's no way to really go anywhere for safety. He just has to dodge and weave away as best he can. Versus on Erangel, you're probably going to be able to hide behind leaves of trees and so on. There's a lot of wide open spaces on Miramar. And he also says he made it to the top few 10 circles in Miramar, and all but one were terrible with no cover. People were running in and out of the circles without, really any care in the world, pretty much, because you just had no options.
And that was the thing that we had noticed a lot too when we first
did,
there's not a lot of cover unless there's like a hilly area. You got to play it pretty smart ahead of the curve to know where that circle's going to go.
Yeah. And he also felt that the loot was a little bit sparse, and this is something I definitely agree with. It really did seem like the loot was very slim, which was strange because you'd think with a bigger map, more areas to check out, there would be more loot, but no, it was pretty sparse. So they needed to up that. They need to figure out those loot tables a little bit. And he says Erangel is just more refined at the moment, and I agree with that because it's in the test server. So I think we can expect there to be issues, but definitely needs some work, some more polish.
Yeah, Jay has the same kind of thing. He doesn't play, but he likes Erangel because it's better looking, it works better, it's more exciting, there's more happening, and I would agree with him overall. I like Miramar, but I think that Erangel is much better and more playable.
Yeah. Two vastly different maps, says Nick. Nick in PDX says Miramar is wide open, sniper's paradise, but you also have got the major cities, which are a lot more condensed than Erangel is. And the cities in Erangel seem better, seem adequate, but specifically the terrain in Miramar is very difficult to traverse. And this is something we've been saying from the start when this map came out, was like, oh my God, trying to drive up and down the hills, especially with a VW bus, is pretty much impossible. And it makes more sense to run at that point.
Yeah, almost all the time it makes more sense to run.
Yeah.
So SPG 1972 says they didn't get to play the test servers on the Xbox. Work can sometimes be a right pain in the pan. But I can offer another take on the question of the week. Played the mobile version of Miramar on beta, and it looks fantastic, but it does seem to be a map geared probably more than 100 players. It's only in beta, so I don't know the population of people to bots, probably more bots than people, which is true, or even if the damn thing was working correct. But he won the game without seeing anybody or firing a single shot. But the promise of a greater
close quarters combat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. In the built-up areas has a great promise over Erangel's flatter towns. Maybe arcade mode would be better. Try that next. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there are a lot of bots when you first start playing that game anyway, so it makes it a little bit difficult to play.
Yeah. Yeah, this is how I actually found out that Miramar was on mobile. I had no idea until I read his comment his or her comment, and then just jumped into the interwebs and had to Google it. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. And I agree. It's definitely a map for a lot of people. You want a full 100 player server to get a good experience on Miramar on the desert. A couple more pieces of feedback. I'll grab. Nightman says they hated Miramar, the very first few games they played on it, but they think it's a great map now, completely different to Erangel, and you feel safer running on Miramar through the terrain for longer distances, whereas Erangel, you sort of feel like you've not got a car up into the final circles, you're screwed, pretty much. And I also found it fascinating that how many different spellings of Erangel and Miramar we saw throughout this question. Everyone seems to spell it differently, but I know what you're talking about. I get it. Yeah, interesting take, because I would almost say that I feel more exposed on Miramar, but Nightman feels safer because they can sort of duck down into the hills and valleys of the terrain.
I definitely feel more exposed on Miramar. Even with the terrain, I feel like I could be picked off from twice as far away as I could on Erangel, and people are pretty damn good shots with a 6 or an 8x at this point.
Yeah, and maybe that's just an Xbox feeling for me. I definitely felt more safe overall on Xbox because I knew people weren't as skilled with the sniper rifles.
Right.
So yeah, maybe that's another different take on the game, on the map, depending on the platform. So yeah, that was a lot of great feedback. We've got one more. Fatal Clarity came in right at the end. They said they like both maps overall, but prefer the OG Erangel. That's the map that kind of started the game, and just they like the overall flow of the nice green map, and it just plays like home. And that's the key. That's something that a lot of people have said. It just feels like you're on your home turf when you go back to Erangel.
Yeah.
When you play Miramar, as far as the map goes, it's beautiful desert landscape, which was nice for a minute, but then you suddenly realize you're running or driving to get to the circle constantly. Agreed. It just gets kind of annoying, especially if you're trying to go over that crazy terrain. There's so many nooks and crannies in Miramar, and you can barely see a player more than 150 yards. He or she completely almost goes off of sound in Miramar to find enemy positions. Different play styles for different maps. But I agree, home field advantage is Erangel.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure anybody would argue differently.
Yeah.
Out of the millions of people that play this game.
Yeah. Yep.
So that is our your feedback from this week's question of the week. I just bumbled that. I had a mini stroke, I think, but
check your pulse.
I'm a little sidetracked right now. I just got a call that power went out at my work. So.
Oh no.
Yep. So anyway, we have 2 questions of the week for you guys this week.
2.
Because one is geared toward PC players and the other is geared toward everybody else. So what do you like and dislike about the new scopes that they've implemented into this patch number 12 for PC players? And what is number 1 on your wish list for Xbox updates for you Xbox players? Again, what do you like and dislike about the new scopes? And what is your number 1 wish list for the Xbox updates? Let us know in the Discord. We will talk about it next week. Yeah, that's all we got. Yeah. These are good questions, I think. We'd like to hear your feedback, and I like that we have 2 this week. We didn't want to leave you Xbox people out.
Yeah, because we couldn't ask about the scopes when you're on Xbox because you don't have them yet. So, as in the spirit of the Xbox box, we're bringing back a question specific for you Xbox players.
Beautiful.
And because John decided to go off to freaking Europe, we don't have a John Makes a Great Point. But I'd like to think overall...
I bet you he is making some really great points to the Brits right now.
Extremely good points. Extremely good points.
Jolly good points.
I think overall we've made some good points, enough that he would say, guys, you made some good points today.
And then I would say, God damn it, Daniel, it's great. And then there'd be like a soft version of our song playing.
Yeah, just a little bit of that. So no John this week. Next week, we'll have some Jonathan, citrusy fella, Lemon John, back again at it again, hopefully, with this segment.
Yeah, so enjoy the light episode this week, guys. Head over to Scale Speeder's YouTube if you're trying to fill some time. He's got a pretty wonderful voice, and he's pretty intelligent when he's talking about this game.
Unlike we can be, especially at the beginning of this episode, which was pretty rough. Pretty rough.
It's okay.
We turned it around.
We'll rebound. It's the busiest part of the year right now. We're on the struggle bus right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you all for hanging out. We surpassed our 1 downloads of the week last week by over 100, and also our downloads per month by over 1,200 this last month. So thank you so much for all of your support. This is amazing. We are so happy to do this show, and we will continue to do so as long as you guys listen.
Yeah. If you stop listening, we'll stop talking. But until then,
we will see you in game.
Good.